requesting us to do videos about it. We've encouraged other marriages, because not just marriages, other people who are in relationships or who are trying to get in relationships, because we don't just make it about a marriage. It's not.
I think that's good. I think that's
it's not
good.
just about being married. It's about being the person that you are if you're going to be married. It's about learning who you are as a person prior to getting married. So we touched on kind of like every basic is, you know, that you're going to get into a relationship to lead up to marriage. And once you get into that marriage, what happens when you're in that marriage? Do you still fuss and fight? Absolutely. Will you still, you know, there's things that people need to know when you get into a marriage as well. So all of it's pretty much in the book.
Yeah, because when you get to a marriage, there's no such thing, you know, well, you know, everybody live happily ever after. That's, they say, you know, that was when your hard days begin. And when the hard days begin, you know, you have to know how to sustain it and try to keep it going, right?
Absolutely.
And you have to handle a whole lot of things, so yeah.
Absolutely. And people think once you're married, oh, it's such a walk in the park. I mean, for the most part, it is a walk in the park. Mm-hmm. But at times, you still got, we get upset with each other, when we get angry with one another, you have to learn how to recover from that. You got to learn how to bounce back from that. Don't stay in that situation. Like, just bouncing off something the gentleman said earlier about him walking out. The one thing we were laughing at what you were saying, I'm the walkout one. I walked out one day because we had a really big argument, and I decided, you know what? I'm getting out of here. You can just keep on talking. So I packed my pillow and my blanket, and I went into one of the kids' room where there's a twin bunk bed.
Yeah, I read that.
You see us, right? So I decided, because I didn't want to hear him anymore. He just kept on going. I was like, you know what? I'm leaving. So I went into the other room. I crawled myself. Now I'm a big girl. I got into this little bed, and I laid there. And then a couple of seconds later, I hear footsteps. I'm like, the kids are in the bed already. Here he comes, right behind me. We're not, and he squeezed all his body up against all his body.
Oh my goodness.
And he held on to me. He said, listen, the one thing we're going to do in this marriage, we're not going to separate. I don't care how mad you are. And he wrapped himself around me. I'm like, and then the fight was over. And it was like, we had to. Yeah, and he was like, you going to stay in this bed? We're going to stay in here together. So I called myself being mad. I'm like, I'm just going to say, and now I'm beating with all this sweat. Like, it is hot. And it's in a bunk bed. And he's being
bunk bed.
And he would not leave. He would not leave. And his point to me was, I don't care how upset you get, do not ever leave this room. Do not ever leave this bed. We're going to talk this out. And he's always been that way. Like, I'm the one that, I'm the hot-headed one. So I'm the hot-headed one. And he's the type of person like, listen, no, we're going to work through this. We're going to work this out. And I'm like, but I'm not ready. And he'll make me be ready. We're going to talk about it right here and now.
Hey, just make a laugh and then it's
also, till you work together, you have a butterfly, right?
Yes, butterfly rhythm.
You work together. How is it working together? You know, they say like going with me is not like living with me, but how working with me too. How's that? How you come along with that?
Listen, it was the perfect thing to do together. He and I. I'm a plus size model, and I decided to open up a company called Butterfly Rhythm. And what it is I try to encourage women to believe in themselves, to trust in their, believe in themselves, believe in who they are in their size. So I decided to open up this company, and then also I'm a model as well. He decided to go back to figure out the photography part of it. So instead of me going out there constantly paying somebody to do my photo shoots, he'd step to the plate. He was like, babe, listen, I got this. Let me figure out this whole camera thing. I'm going to do it.
Okay.
And that's what he did. He went back and he figured out the classes. He went out and got a camera. Okay. And now I'm his model.
Okay.
He's my photographer.
Oh, and that's no, we'd like to thank you very much for joining us on your show. And, well, if you watch it on the social media or you watch it on the cable, how we run it, they'll see you back again. Okay. And we thank everybody. We thank the professor. We thank Sister Jennifer, Angela. What else we thank? Well, Corey helped me out of school. Eric, you know my son Eric. We thank you all, and Brother Will, because he wanted to come. We would like to thank you very much. And we'll see you soon on LMS. Okay, now I'm going to get ready for the third show. And welcome to the LMS show. Give yourselves a big hand. Hooray! They're back! The Powells! Oh my goodness. You know, I would like to ask you a question about, let me see, because this book is not only, you know, well, like I'm going to say a gossip book, but more of a spiritual book too. Tell me about the young lady, Jacqueline. Was it Jack?
Yes, my friend Jacqueline Ricks.
Yes.
Yeah, she was diagnosed with brain cancer not a few years ago. About 2 years ago. 2017? Since 2017 she was diagnosed with brain cancer.
Yes.
And the first time she was diagnosed, she kind of kept it to herself and she really didn't share it. I knew something was wrong, but she never allowed me to get close to her. The second time around, you know, she and I worked together for 4 years. And
was she working at your job?
yes, we worked together. And then the second time around, we were sitting across from each other and she kept telling me something was wrong. And then, like, you can tell something wrong because you can hear her speech changing. Mm-hmm. And she asked me, she used to call me Deej, and she was like, Deej, do you hear me sounding different? So I told her, I said no, but I did hear it. So then I finally told her, I said, yes, I do hear you sounding a little different. She was like, something is not right. And I was like, okay. So she went to go get her MRI and she had, get some testing done. And the testing came back that her cancer had returned. Mm-hmm. And at that moment, I was sitting across from her and I just was like, Lord God, if you want me to be with her, teach me how to help her. And without me ever saying it to her, she had come up to me one day at work and she had asked me, I need your help. Okay. And then we went into the bathroom and she had taken off her wig. I've never seen her without a wig, and I think it was her way of testing to see if I was the person that God wanted me to be for her.
That's important, because you just can't get anybody. Because because I'm not saying you're spilling the beans, but you're putting your confidence in a person.
Right.
And you and your husband work together on this, right?
We worked together with her.
Yes.
Yeah, we did it together. It was.
I think that give them a big hand. Some people like say, no, I don't want to be bothered with this, and just get away, But
no, when I called him, because she had asked me, she said, "Can your husband?" She knew that the relationship that my husband and I have, we're pretty much joined at the hip, and we do literally almost everything together. And she had asked me, she was like, Deej, I know you can't take off work, but will your husband be able to take my MRI results to my doctor? And I said, absolutely. I ran back to my desk and I called him. And that's when I asked you, can you take Jackie, her information up to TNEC? That's like, 40 minutes away? He drove, took her results, and then results came back, and he had to take her to get the results. And I was at work, and my husband was there when she got her final results. And he stayed there with her. They went from, I think they were there like 10 o'clock, all the way to the midnight. Oh. And I called him, I checked it. I never felt the need to be like, oh, babe, what you doing? He always gave me, babe, I'm here with her. I said, well, she kept telling him, go home to your wife. I need you to go home to your wife. And he kept telling her, no, I'm going to stay right here with you. And I told him, I said, babe, you stay there if you need to, but honey, if you want to come home, we'll rotate and I'll go. He was like, no, sweetie, you stay, because you got to go to work in the morning. I said, okay. So he stayed with her the whole entire time. She kept calling me, tell your husband to go home. You don't have to stay here. It was like me and her battling to get him to leave, and he was like, I'm staying here with her. And he stayed. So he finally came home, and he just kind of like plopped on a bed. And I looked at him, I said, are you okay? And he was just like, babe, she has cancer. And I was like, I know. And he was like, we're going to do this with her. I was like, okay. And then we went back, and we constantly, we were the two that took care of her from that moment. She never left the hospital. We stayed there the whole entire time. It wasn't an easy journey. It was a journey that we know that God allowed us to be there. God chose me and my husband to be there for this girl. There was nobody else. It was just two of us. And
did she have family?
Her family was in there. in
Alabama.
Alabama and Georgia. So
His son was here, but he was in school.
Right. So we took on all of that to be sure that she was taken care of, and she chose the two of us to do it. And I'm glad you said that it's a spiritual journey because it was. Because when she got sick, she was already in the hospital for a week, and I got injured on my job right after she was discharged from. Once she was admitted to the hospital, I had an injury in my knee. I went to the doctor like a week later, and the doctor told me, this is your last day at work. And I'm looking at him like, what are you talking about? So this is your last day at work. You have to have surgery on your knee. And it was like, all right, Lord God, you allowed me to have this happen so that I could take care of her. And that's what I did every day up until my knee surgery. I was there, me and my husband, we were there taking care of her every single day. Because like if I was working every day, I wouldn't have been able to be there to give her not care like medical care. I was just there being a friend.
How about her I don't want to ask you, but
it's okay.
How'd you take her passing? How you take her passing?
The passing was, my husband prepared me. He kept telling me, babe, it's gonna happen, and I'm just like, no, she's gonna be great. He always prepared me, and I didn't, because I didn't know how I was gonna take it. But he was my strong person throughout this entire process. There was times that I didn't want to go to the hospital. He kept saying, babe, let's go. I was like, okay, baby, we're going. Like, he took a step back. When he was my backbone, I was here with her, and he was behind me. You can do it. Cheering me on the whole entire time. And I'm looking back like, baby, but I'm scared. And he never stepped over his boundaries of getting in the relationship between me and her. He was just the back person, just telling me the whole time, you got this, you got this. There was times that I want to just fall. He was like, nope, keep going, babe. And I look back like, you still there? And he was always in the background. He never stepped in where me and her were learning each other. Like, I was learning how to, because she had lost feeling on her right side, I had to learn how to hold her up. I had to learn how to listen to her speak. My husband never ever.
A caretaker taking care of a person is a very rough job.
My husband is he's a caretaker.
It's draining. I mean, it's draining, and
that's what my husband is. He is a caretaker, and that's where his role came in to teach me how to be a caretaker. He takes care of. You can talk. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Another question I'd like to ask you, because do you believe in? I was reading this here. Yeah, I'm going to read this book again. I went home to share this great feeling with my husband. He just smiled. The following Sunday rolled around, and I asked him again, "Would you like to join me in church today?" He said no. My heart was a little broken. So as I walked into the bathroom, I heard in my spirit the words of Shirley Caesar, "Sometimes you have to walk alone." My heart was so heavy because I didn't want to walk alone to church and serve God without the man I was called to love. I continued to get dressed and went to church. I kept praying for him anyway. I always asked God to protect and cover him. I prayed for his soul and salvation every single day without giving up. This went on for almost 4 Sundays, and the 5th Sunday, I was not led to ask my husband to go with me, as I have done. I got out of the shower, head back to room to continue to prepare myself for another powerful service. My husband had gotten up and was heading to the shower. I asked him what his plans were for the day. He turned around and said, "I'm going to church with you today. Since you didn't ask me to go, my heart and soul rejoiced, but I held in it. I simply smiled at him and said, 'Hurry before you make me late.'" What's your thoughts about that?
Okay. Again, I am chosen by God. I know I am. And when we decided we were gonna go to church together, he decided he wasn't gonna go. And I kept saying,
Is
okay.
that true?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He wasn't going at all. You know, we had been from church to church. We just haven't found the church that met our needs.
Yes. You know,
We have to be spiritually fed.
well, you know, they got out up and down the avenue. Sometimes
It's just not meant for you.
Not meant for you.
Right. So I guess he had got tired. He was just like, you on your own, Jay. You can do this by yourself. So I kept asking him Sunday after Sunday. I'm like, baby, you going? He was like, no. So that third Sunday, I was getting ready to ask him, and I heard the words of Shirley Caesar say, sometimes you have to walk alone. And I'm like, but I don't want to walk by myself. I want my husband. But I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go in here and take this shower. And I did it. That following Sunday, I did not ask him. I didn't say another word. I had already said, you know what, Lord God, whenever you want him to come, he'll come on his own. And then I heard all this scuffling around in the room. I'm like, what is he doing? So I just, well, babe, what are your plans for the day? And he was just like, I'm going to church with you since you ain't asked. I was like, okay. But inside, I was just like, yes, Jesus, he's coming. So I just looked at him and played it cool. Just hurry up so you won't make me late. So when he walked, I was like, Lord, you answered my prayers. So he finally decided to join this church with me, and he came, and we've been inseparable since that day.
Also, too, you think that a lot of people, I don't want to pray. You know, do you think prayer plays a very big part in your life?
Let me say this. Prayer is the key to any relationship. Not just your relationship between man and woman, but relationships with your family, your friends, your life, your co-workers. Prayer changes everything. And it got to the point where if I couldn't pray, he had my back in prayer. He knows when I'm acting ugly, as he would say. He does this little stupid thing. You're gonna pray today, like he prays, and it's like, you know, he. Because when I get ugly, he's. What did you say the other day?
What?
When you when I was being real nasty to you.
Ooh.
I was. Dude, we ain't perfect. So I was being really upset. Like I think I just had an attitude or whatever it was, and he was just like pointing on my head. He was like, "I'm just gonna pray for you." Oh, press it hard. I'm like, "Can you stop?" But it just lets me know that he knows the power of prayer just as much as I know the power of prayer. And we have this thing where he'll lead the prayer and I'll finish up the prayer, or however. It's like we know that prayer is the thing that keeps us glued together. Because if we don't pray, we can feel the atmosphere shift when we ain't praying.
Give him a big hand behind that. Now, I read here in this book.
You like my book, didn't you?
Yeah, I already know you do.
I think you like my book.
Yeah, what I do, remember, I have a whole bunch of other authors come up here, and I love them too. But, you know, some of them I say, and that's it. The day of our wedding, I woke up full of tears of joy. I knew my prayers had been answered. I didn't just pray to be a wife or just for a husband. I prayed and asked God to bless what we have created. I didn't want anything more to be what God has assigned me to be, and that it was to be the wife for Harlan. I pray that God would allow us both to be what we created and designed us to be just for each other. I knew that if we stay in His will, He will bless our marriage and make it what He wanted us to be. Our prayers were answered. Let Thy will be done, not what He or what I wanted, but what God wanted us. God wanted for us. We respond to that.
Okay. We always have this thing, and that's not just with us, but anybody. We always, what we want. It's not what we want. It's what God wants of us. It's His will. That's why we pray the prayer of, let Thy will be done. Okay. It's what God wants us to be. Okay. We can't go out here and say, okay, well, I'm going to be this today. But God didn't tell you to be that. It's not going to happen. Okay. So it's when I pray, and when I prayed about becoming a wife, I didn't just say I want to be a wife. No. Lord God, teach me how to be Harlan's wife.
Oh, you prayed that prayer before?
You're absolutely right. When I prayed that prayer before, I want to be a wife. And He was like, okay, you want to be a wife? You're going to be a wife to a husband. Mm-hmm. And that's what I got, a husband. And I wasn't specific in my prayers. So this time around, I said, you know what, Lord God, teach me to be the woman that Harlan needs, so I can meet his needs, and not only that, but teach Harlan how to meet my needs.
On that note, I would like to thank you very much. Wasn't that good? Mr. and Mrs. Harlan Powell, everybody. Take it down, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And welcome back to the LMS Show. My name is Lenny Matthew. Give yourselves a big hand. And thank you and everybody at home, whoever watching, for hanging out with us. We had some topics today. Woo! Oh, awesome. Oh my goodness, it burnt my hand practically. But that's what people want, you know. As Mr. A.C. Gasson, late A.C. Gasson said, what do my people need next? You know, Mr. Gasson, multi-millionaire, late multi-millionaire in Birmingham, Alabama, he gave people what they wanted. Okay. This is, as of this taping, you know, a lot of things, we've gone through a lot of changes through the years. This is, I don't like the date stuff, but LMS, we're going digital. Okay, we're going digital now. This is my 40th season with the LMS.
Wow. Oh man. Give it up for him. Whoa. Two decades. How many? 4 decades.
Senior citizen time.
Oh man.
I was young. I told a friend of mine, I said I was young and handsome back then. And
I got the footage too.
And he
VHS.
said, you're still young and handsome now.
Yeah.
Give my money to do that piece later on. Started 79. And we're going LMS 40 plus years. We wanted to bring some of the people who did shows for me in the past. And I'm glad this young lady consent to come to come and we talked for a while and what she's been doing. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for who?
Virginia Cathery.
Give it up for Virginia Cathery, everybody. This is my friend. We fashion designer extraordinaire.
Yes. Virginia Cathery Collection is the name of the collection. I do a multitude of things within my collection. I cater to some conservative items. I also cater to what I like to say the street party, which is our hooded bodysuits. I cater to mommy and me's, which are my favorite. Started off with my new daughter, which is now 12, so she's not as new.
Wow, I remember she was a girl there.
Yeah, we were able to dress alike when we were like, when she was smaller and it was cuter. Now she's in this little stage, so I'm hoping that when she gets back to, you know, wanting to wear what I'm wearing, we could do a little adult type of a thing.
But we thank you for, you know, for coming out.
Well, I love you, Lenny.
You know, you make me blush. You know, but I'm glad. Well, how you been doing, you know?
I'm blessed. I really can't complain. God, you know, He's just awesome. He continues to bless me with things I didn't even know to ask for. One of which was the recent Jersey City Fashion Week show that I just did September 18th.
Okay.
Where I met fantastic people, including a model, which is one of the models that are here today.
Okay.
And, you know, he just continues to keep showing me that this is something I can do. You know, being a designer is just like being any other artist or any other entrepreneur starting a business. It's a hard struggle. And support or not, sometimes you know you need to like stay still and listen to what God is telling you. Because your emotions and what you go through trying to do what you do can make you want to stop. Just stop the treadmill and getting off. So it's a blessing that He's allowed me to keep doing it.
Sometimes, you know, sometimes in 40 years, sometimes I feel like stop the treadmill myself at times.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, it's just like I was reading the other day. I was reading this book, and I heard the late Florence Ballard, the Supremes. She mentioned that, when they first started out, many times she said that they wanted to get ready to hang it up, but something good happened and they stayed in.
That's God talking to you. He's reminding you. It's a human response for you to doubt yourself, doubt what you're doing, allow for what others tell you to enter. But it's God in the end. If you allow the listening, if you allow to adhere, then you'll be able to get the amount of strength you need to keep going. You'll be able to create a new idea or regurgitate an idea you just didn't put full into fruition. I love being an inspirer, and I try to do that through my clothing. So
I remember I met you through Norman Cole.
yes,
The Cole networking system.
yes,
And also, too, you had an MC at that show.
yes.
Yeah, you remember the MC's name?
No. I go through I'm blessed to do so many shows
No,
with so
but
many
you
MCs.
did- no,
I really,
no,
I don't. I'm so sorry.
Suella.
Oh, my Suella, but she's like we've become so close.
Yes.
That, she's more than just a model, she's more than just a friend, she's more than just a host, an MC.
Yes.
She's like an everything entrepreneur, black thrust of beauty that just does not stop. And so when you said MC, I don't really know her as that. I just know her as awesome.
Just Suella, It has a lot to take to run a business. Do you read much? So you keep up with the trends and stuff like that.
Yes and no. I do read a lot, or for me it's more visual. So I do look at a lot of pictures and get my inspiration through pictures or people, or even how they put things together.